What's shaking, Warfighter Nation? Ron here with Warfighter Ranch and Isaiah 6:8. Welcome to the Send Me podcast, a family of the Warfighter Nation and the first responder communities the world over. Our mission here is to live a little, love a whole lot, and probably offer you a little something different each time. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and join our faith-filled community who at one time or another raised their right hand and said, "Send me." The Bible marker isn't anything particularly special for its intent and purpose. A thin red ribbon that floats effortlessly over the angel smooth pages. But it is for me. For me, it's a valuable reminder as well as what has turned out to be quite a conversation starter. You see, I'm an old jumper. I've been tinkering around with paracord, 550 cord, as long as I can remember. I've experimented with it about every possible way I can imagine for this stuff. I've tried everything from 1,500-pound Kevlar cord down to a shade over 10-pound test fishing line. I've tried it gutted, non-gutted, the snake braid, the cobra braid, fishtail braid, and even created 3 new braids, including our signature barbed wire, Trinity Helix, and our strongest Armor of God braids. I've melted it, singed it, tied it, stretched it, and otherwise manipulated it within a millimeter of its life. Tying knots has been very cathartic for me, even therapeutic. For every knot I tie, it seems I am able to untie one of my own. It allows me to express myself via a healthy medium and allows me a creative outlet, which helps tell the stories of others. I have to tell you, this very simple yet elegant Bible marker needed absolutely no help from me. It was absolutely fine just the way it was. However, my innate desire to create something new or to make it better usually isn't a horrible idea. However, it may not always be the best one either. In this case, though, I think I made the right decision. This is the story that inspired our hashtag Jesus is my jump master. But it's become so much more than that. It's quite literally a metaphor for a path for myself and others to see Jesus for who he really is, at least from a paratrooper's perspective. It reminds me to trust in him, not just when it counts or when I need something, but daily. Not just during triumph, but also tragedy. Always. As most of you know, I was a career paratrooper in the United States Army, and if you've been around the last few years, you know that I very nearly let my pride in something other than God very nearly cost me my own life. In the airborne community, trust is an absolute. It's so integral to every operation, yet is rarely spoken of, specifically as operations are usually very rapid and fluid in their movement, up to and including the moment of execution. It's not spoken of because it doesn't have to be. Quite simply, it just is. When lives are on the line, trust simply cannot fail. We go to school for weeks so we can stay on jump status for years so that we can experience that one moment over and over again. The professional paratrooper, it is, no doubt, a rush like no other. To the layman, the most accurate description short of being there that I can give you is it's the most fun you can have with your clothes on. But after the seemingly endless hours of pre-jump training, a ride in a cattle truck, a gratuitous pre-donning of the parachute trip to latrine, because with experience comes wisdom, a quick stop by the gut truck for a pre-jump last supper with the boys consisting of a burrito, donning of the chute, being JMPI'd by a Jumpmaster qualified senior parachutist, doing the airborne shuffle down green ramp, out to the aircraft wearing full combat equipment, and a slow roll down the tarmac, we finally take off. And then we wait. Depending upon the mission requirements of the Air Force and the aircraft training at the time, the in-flight time may be anywhere from 50 minutes at a minimum up to 3 hours or more. After we take off and the aircraft stabilizes in flight, we loosen our chin straps, cross our arms over our helmets on our lap, and proceed to go to sleep in unison. At 20 minutes out, the Jumpmaster team stands up and gives the appropriate command of 20 minutes, at which we briefly lift our heads, smile at one another, and immediately drift off back to sleep. At the 10-minute mark, things start to get a little saucy. The Jumpmaster team again stands, gives the command of 10 minutes. Then we start to stand up and then hook up, the weight of our combat load now being fully absorbed by our bad backs, surgically restructured knees, and glass ankles. At this point, we are fully embracing the suck. And your calves inevitably begin to turn to jello. And just like that, all of a sudden you have to pee worse than you've ever had to in your entire life. Again. Speed, adrenaline, physics, muscle memory, and bodily functions all come together to form a glorious moment of existence. As soon as the doors open and the wind hits your face, life changes. No longer is there a musty scent in the air of gut truck, burrito burps, and sweat, just the sweet, sweet smell of that fresh wind blowing through the length of the aircraft. It kind of smells a lot like freedom. At the 1 minute mark, the Jumpmaster team gives the command, and for a split second, everything is surreal. You and your fellow paratroopers echo the command. You can no longer even hear the wind. You're listening to the next command at the 30-second mark, and your adrenaline is now in fast and furious mode on a hair trigger. At this point, my hua meter is pegged, and I am jacked the truck up. The only thing that any of us is looking for at this point is for that light to turn from red to green. If your position on the jump manifest affords you the opportunity to actually see the light as it changes color, it is truly a wondrous thing. You make eye contact with the safety, a qualified jump master, and the individual directly responsible for your life as you exit the aircraft. Moving at combat speed at this point, you have a millisecond to make eye contact with this individual, extend to them your static line, whereby they then sway it rearward with their arm, thus facilitating a clean exit without getting our arms ripped off or pulled out of its socket at best. You may even have a nasty case of riser burn at this point. Good luck explaining that one to your wife when you get home. Google riser burn later. The main point of my message here is that in being truly free to do what we need to do, we often need to trust someone we may or may not even know, and you may have to relinquish something valuable to you in order to receive that kind of freedom. It may come down to that very moment. The stakes might be as high as they are in airborne operations. Lives are at stake. When I look at that man and I turn loose my static line, I have given him my ultimate trust. I'm trusting him with my life. You know, my last unit in Iraq had a motto, which we still use today. You bet your soul on what you believe. You bet your life on what you know. There's certainly some truth in that. And although I miss jumping more than anyone will ever know, I move forward now knowing that Jesus truly is my jump master, and there are new drop zones ahead. When I find myself in uncharted territory or fearful of something, I have to remember to trust Him. We cannot be truly free until we give away that fear, that control, that anxiety, or whatever it is that you find as a barrier in your life. Trust in Him as I do. Keep your eyes on Him and relinquish your static line. Just let it go. Whatever it is in your life that you need to release, an experience of freedom like you've never known before. After all, eternity is an awfully long time to be wrong. Prayers up, time now.
Do not get off on exit 22, over.
Cleared hot at this time.
Boat Vet 6, this is Smoke Jumper 7. Roger that. Next mission, time now.